That's what color socks are you typing something? Yeah. What did my socks have to do with the apartment? How old are you? How old are you? I'm 20. Okay, it seems that you're good. We should be able to accept the application, and the place should be yours. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yo, I think we got it.
Yes, sir.
But before we continue, do you have any documents showing your previous renter's history? Renter's history? Oh, you know. It's just part of the application process. Well, I'm 20, so this is my first time renting an apartment. Hello? Yo, this is stupid. What do these requirements have to do with us paying rent on time?
Well, maybe it's just standard procedure.
Nah, bro. Give me the number of the last apartment. Orange socks, renter's history. What the f... Flower Grove Apartments, downtown Austin. How may I help? Hello, my name is Johannes. I'm 20 years old. I'm wearing orange socks. I have a red birthmark on my right foot. I don't have any pay stubs, but I have bank statements to prove my income, and I have no renter's history. Is there any other information you need, sir? Oh, we actually don't require that information. We only care about bank statements. No renter's history? What do we care? Pay stubs? You just said you didn't have any. Oh, I apologize for my name. No problem, sir. We know how draining the application process is, and our company doesn't ask people for random information we don't need to determine if they'll pay rent or not. Huh. Okay, I just emailed you my bank statements. Awesome, and you're good. The place is all yours. This is the one.
Okay, finally. Jeez.
But before we continue, can you beat me in a fight? Say that again? You heard me. Run my fade. You want me to fight you physically? Why? Oh, you know. It's just part of the application process. Okay. Nah, don't hang up. Bro, the house is yours. All you gotta do is fight me. That's literally the last part of the application. There's no way that's on the application. I'll send the PDF right now. Chill, you don't have to do... Why? What does that have to do with my rent money?
It's just standard procedure, bro.
I'm hanging up. Nah, you're good. Pull up. As a matter of fact, you gave me your address. Hold on. I'm hanging up. This you? I'm hanging up. Open up. You can sign the lease, bro. All you need to do is beat me in a fight. I'm hanging up.
It's just the application, bro. Come on.
Open the door. I'm hanging up. Open the door. The door. I just lost a little pillow. Leave myself vulnerable. That's a no-go. My circle so small that it look like an oval. You won't catch me lacking, and that shit is for sure. I never fold. I do not bend. This is the life that I chose. I was made for the paper just like I'm a pen. Yeah, life is good. I cannot front. I do whatever I want, but that's not enough, cause I'm not complacent. I need everything on my life to be great. I'ma chase it. I am... Yo, I need you to calm down, bro. I'm trying, man. I can only stay calm for but so long. What if it hits when I get home? What if I get caught? What if someone knocks on the door? What if someone... Look at me, okay? Which one? Oh, damn. Right there, that cookie hit me like an 18-wheeler, yo. Just bounce. Hey, I'm still working on moving, but I will try my best to get the video out next Wednesday. This story literally took place a week ago. Yeah, I'm chilling with one of my friends unnamed Marcus. I'm at his house, we're playing Smash, laughing, chopping it up, straight chilling. About an hour passes and Marcus decides he wants to DoorDash some Chick-fil-A. Now, I'm currently on a daily workout/meal planning regimen, so I pass on the fast food, but in order to prevent myself from folding like DeRosa's ACL and eating some of Marcus's food, I ask if he has anything I can eat before the DoorDash gets here, and him being the generous person he is, he tells me that I can have anything in the pantry, which... it's not as generous as it sounds, considering this nigga had absolutely nothing in his cabinet. Right as I'm about to call it quits and close the cabinet, I see out of the corner of my eye this fudge chocolate chip cookie, and I figured, well, one cookie is better than a whole Chick-fil-A meal, so I crush that and go back to the couch. Shortly after, he gets his food and heads to the kitchen to pour some water, and I'm thinking nothing of it until he comes back into the living room with no water and a serious look on his face. Giannis, what did you end up eating from that cabinet? The only thing that was in the cabinet? I ate the cookie, bro. Yo, please tell me you did not eat the whole thing. You only eat some of a cookie? You ate the whole thing. It wasn't even that good, honestly. Where'd you get it? You get it? Now this is where I got concerned, because Marcus is an atheist. He's been one for several years, but without skipping a beat, he clasps his hands together, closes his eyes, and says, Jesus, please help us. Did I just convert this to with the cookie? He then sits sits me down and explains that I didn't eat a normal cookie and that I, in fact, ate a whole THC, aka magic cookie. This was a big cookie. A person who regularly partakes in the use of magic would only really be able to handle about this much. I have never partaken in any form of magic in my life, and I ate the whole cookie. In other words, I'm about to go to Mars, okay? He tells me that I have about 45 minutes to an hour until the effects of the cookie kick in, and that I'm not gonna gradually feel it. It's actually gonna hit me like a truck, and I need to brace myself because I really messed this one up. Marcus says to stay calm though, because if I panic, that'll make it like 10 times worse. So I stop, try to collect myself, I take a deep breath. And begin to panic. I just went from 20 years of complete sobriety to taking multiple doses of the most hardcore form of magic. Why would I not freak out? But before it gets bad, he manages to calm me down. I sit on the couch and wait about 20 minutes. Nothing. And I absolutely hated it. I couldn't handle the stress and anxiety. I needed help. Marcus didn't look like he was going to do much, and I definitely wasn't going to call my mom because she'd kill me. So I go to the only other person who could help me. God. Maybe he could magically replace all the THC in my body with holy water. I don't know, dog. I get on my knees and out loud I say this prayer for like 15 minutes straight. Afterwards I get up, let 3 minutes pass, and I start praying again. I was so desperate, I basically just double texted the Holy Spirit. Marcus sees this and he says, yo, I need you to calm down, bro. I'm trying, man, but I can only stay calm for but so long. What if it hits when I get home? What if I get caught? What if someone knocks on the door? What if someone... Look at me, okay? Which one? Huh? Bam! Right then and there, that cookie hit me like an 18-wheeler, yo. Just, it was so fast, yo. I didn't even see it coming. I was faded. My anxiety goes Kaioken times 5, bro. I start tripping. My mouth is on dry, so I drink both of our glasses of water. I get it to get more, and every part of my body that touched the chair to get up just becomes overwhelmed with pain, bro. It hurts to touch things. Marcus is talking, trying to calm me down, and Johannes, sit down, bro. Johannes, I need you to chill. But I could barely understand him because his voice had like this echo. Bro, I wasn't even on Earth anymore. I started hyperventilating. I couldn't take it anymore. I forced my friend to drive me home because for some reason I was convinced that if I was home, I'd be fine. He pulls up to my driveway and I beeline it to the crib. I'm trying to unlock the door, but I don't know which of my 7 hands is real, but I eventually get it open and I dash to my bed and I actually peacefully fall asleep. For what felt like 10 minutes, I wake up in a sweat, I'm breathing heavily, I feel sick. I feel sick? I touch my forehead, blazing hot, and I realize I'm also out of breath. Wait, fever, shortness of breath, no. Did I catch the virus? No. I take my clothes off, I get up. It still hurts to touch things. I run to the bathroom, I turn on the light, and I look at myself in the mirror, and what I saw terrified me. Of all the things I could have seen in this mirror, this was the last thing I expected to see. Yo, what is this? I let out a blood-curdling scream because I see that I have pink hair. I forgot I dyed my hair pink, yo. The cookie had completely taken over. I started tripping and I'm trying to wash it out, and then I hear my front door opening. If that's my roommate and he sees me, he's 100% calling my mom. And then she's going to kill me. I freeze. I hear footsteps come right to the bathroom. The door bursts open and I see Marcus, who never left the driveway. You get what I'm saying, right? I just slept for 10 minutes, got diagnosed with the virus, had a panic attack, all in the time that it took this dude to leave his car, walk up the stairs, and open my bathroom door. Apparently, it's only been like 50 seconds. My friend left me alone for 50 seconds.
Yeah, I heard the traffic was intense on Dorset Drive today. If I had to sit through one more traffic jam, I'm gonna go postal. That was a joke. I just want to make it clear if anyone's listening.
Rockford Hills at this rate. Del Perro Boulevard made me want to cry. No, avoid North Rockford Drive. stuck in Los Santos traffic.
What's next?
Tired of redness, burning?
According to the Screen Actors Guild, an actor must be paid for the day or week of shooting regardless of whether they're included in the final film or not. Although some big actors are contractually allowed to be paid afterwards through box office income, the original SAG rule is non-negotiable. It's basically considered gospel when it comes to paying actors for their time regardless of whether they're SAG members or not. That being said, this rule can lead to a very odd occurrence. Sometimes when an actor gets replaced or removed for one reason or another, they can still be paid handsomely for their time. Although this is quite rare in the cinema world, as productions run on a very tight schedule after months of planning and casting, it has happened numerous times in history due to controversy, poor planning, or simply because the director changed their mind. At the end of the day, getting paid is getting paid, but admittedly it doesn't sound great on paper to be paid off to stay out of a film. This being said, I'm Amy from What Culture, and here's 10 actors who got paid to not star in movies. 10. Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 3. In recent months, Johnny Depp has been involved in a whirlwind of controversy thanks to emerging stories of domestic violence between him and his ex-wife Amber Heard. Whilst Depp and Heard have vehemently accused each other, leading to major fallout and backlash against the both of them, Depp was labelled a wife-beater by a writer of the Sun newspaper. In turn, Depp took the Sun's publisher and the paper's executive editor, Dan Wootton, to court. But as Depp lost the trial, the result has caused his reputation to plummet. Despite playing a major character in J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them film series, Warner Brothers has stepped in and told Depp to resign from the third production currently in the works. Depp agreed to the terms and has been paid at least $10 million for his one day of shooting because of contractual agreements. His part as Gellert Grindelwald has now been given to Danish actor Mads Mikkelsen, and the film is continuing production without Depp with a 2022 release date. 9. Marlon Brando in Scary Movie 2. Scary Movie 2 is known for having quite a few big-name actors starring alongside Anna Faris, including James Woods, David Cross, and Tim Curry. However, one of the actors who was planned to have a cameo yet unfortunately couldn't star in the movie was Hollywood legend Marlon Brando. Believe it or not, Brando was originally going to star as Father McFeely, one of the exorcists in the opening parody. However, when it came time to start filming, Brando had to drop out of the project due to health issues and was paid $2 million for the one day that he was on set. Undeterred, James Woods was taken on to replace Brando.
Up all day? You're asking for it. We go to class and obviously kids start to get restless, so to pass time they started throwing leftover water bottles into the trash cans. I wanted to join in on the fun, but I have bad aim and I didn't want to shoot, miss, and have everyone make fun of me. The kids are throwing bottles into the trash can, but they soon realized that empty water bottles don't really travel that far when thrown, so they start filling the water bottles up in the sink and throwing them into the trash can. The teacher isn't really bothered by this at all until this one kid throws a water bottle and BAM! Hits the wall and spills water everywhere. I look over and the teacher shoots up with the quickness like she was waiting for this moment to happen. The bottle hadn't even hit the floor yet. She was already hitting the disappointed teacher pose. Look at this. Look at this. Look what you did. See, this is why I can't. Well, she slips on the water. She then hits the floor. Bam! Immediately the classroom erupts in laughter. Amongst the commotion, I start to look around, and it was at this moment that I decided it was my time to shine. I go up and fill my water bottle with water. Yep. I take aim for the trash can and I shoot my shot. Perfect form. The arc of the throw was immaculate. Like the water bottle wasn't even going to hit the backboard. Just a beautiful shot. But right as the bottle's about to descend into the trash can, my heart drops. The teacher shoots up from under her desk and then she gets hit. Everyone stops. We see her freeze. hold her forehead. Maybe thinking that my teacher is just overreacting, you know, it was just a water bottle, and you would be right. If I didn't throw a metal water bottle. It was all I had, okay? I don't know why I tried to shoot it in the trash can, man. I just wanted to fit in. I figured, you know, if I shot the shot while everyone was laughing, it would be funny. I didn't think that I'd hit someone, but yeah, it was bad, yo. I took my water bottle and I just yeeted it at the teacher. You know, right in the face. Okay, that's cap. It was more of a, just like a lob, and it didn't even really hit her that hard, you know, because I'm a little third grader. But it was still a full metal water bottle. The class gets dead silent. At first she was confused, like, did someone just hit me with a metal water bottle confused? And while she was trying to process the information, my friends at the table who saw me see me throw the metal water bottle were like, Johannes, why would you do that? I almost lied. Like, I almost wanted to look them in the face and say, do what? Like they didn't see me see them see me throw the metal water bottle. But before I can even answer, she approaches her table and I shush everyone. Yo, calm down. I was calm. No one say anything. She can't get all of us in trouble. Not on the last day of school, okay? Just play dumb and don't snitch. She's probably not even that mad. You four, who threw that? It was him. I snitched on the person to my right, okay? I figured if I snitched first, I could get the jump on them and the teacher would believe me. But of course, the guy that I pointed at started arguing with me. Both of you to the front now. She brings us to the table, puts the water bottle on the table, and asks whose it was. And my dumb mind is examining it, turning it around like, nah, that's a scratch. Nah, see, this isn't mine. But right as I turn it upside down, I immediately put it back on the table because I realized my name is on the bottom of the bottle. The teacher picks up the bottle and starts lecturing us, and the whole time I'm just thinking, don't turn it upside down. Don't turn it upside down. Don't turn it upside down. You know what? I'm not even gonna deal with this. She slams the bottle on the table and calls the principal, and I'm like, the bell is gonna ring in like 2 minutes on the last day of school. There's no way the principal's gonna answer the phone. Hello? Yes, I have 2 students who I need you to talk to right now. I'm on my way. I start to panic, but right as she hangs up the phone, the bell rings. Everyone except us 3 did. She looks at us, I look at my friend, and I look back at the teacher. Hey, you get back here right now! And I bolt out of the door and into my mom's car. The block was too hot. I had to escape. My mom and I had planned to head directly to the new house after she picked me up, so they literally could not get me in trouble. I just pulled a TK. But I didn't get caught. 808, I never miss. Hit you with Josh, I can miss in a destructo disc. I feel like acrylic, more like Vegeta. Charging my gun to keep the heater. Oh, yeah. Put the pink dye in my hair. What's up, guys? You don't usually see my face. Welcome. Before we get into the video, I would like to say thank you for 1K. That's my first big milestone that I ever got. I would like to thank you guys amazingly. You guys are amazing. I wouldn't be the person I am without you guys. I wouldn't have the opportunities that I have without you guys. I would like to say thank you, and let's get into the video. If you know me, you know I'm easily scared. I'm not saying I'm a pussy or anything, but when it comes to stuff like horror games, movies, and the supernatural, I'm trying my best to control my bladder. Speaking of horror games, go check out my channel, Mitchell IV. There are 3 different responses I get when I'm scared. 1, the stone cold. On the outside, I'm a rock, but internally, that's not the case at all. I usually use this when I'm around friends and family, just keep up that alpha persona. Number 2, it's called the flinch. This usually happens when I'm genuinely scared and I can't hold it in. It doesn't really have a designated time or occasion because it usually happens and it's usually out of my hands.
3 is called Flight. This one's pretty self-explanatory. I get scared resulting in actually screaming and or running away. Now that you have a general idea how to deal with fear, here's a story that encompasses all these different emotions. So October 2018, one night me and about 5 of my other friends all went to a haunted house. Since I don't feel like animating all these people, I will keep 4 of them as avocados and then animate 1 of them as my boy Chi. So we pull up, pay our fees, sign our waivers, everything to make sure we can't sue them if we end up having a heart attack. So we get in line and wait for our group to be called. About 10 minutes later, we get called in and we enter the building. So we begin walking in and then, hey yo, Mitch, you're leading. Whoa, I am of the black skin tone. As you know, in all horror movies, I die first. I know I always use this excuse, but this time I am so serious, guys. I am not going. I swear to God, I ended up being the person in front, as you guys probably guessed. So we pretty much make it halfway through. I am stone-faced this whole time. So as we're walking, we make our way to a staircase. This 6-foot, behemoth of a monster drops through the ceiling. I turn around and look where my friends are. These kids are like 3 feet away from me. There is no hope for me in this situation. I was completely cornered. After she got this reaction out of me, it leaves me alone and walks away. I begin walking back to my friends, and then, boom, it drops down again. It was a wrap. Between me and my friend is standing this 6-foot-tall monster. I look around my surroundings. My only option is the stairs. I make eye contact with the stairs and book it. I make it about halfway down, and then, oh shit, I fly forward. It's about 10 steps. I land on my stomach and leaving a fat gash in my knee. Hey yo, Mitch. I hit the ground with the force of a small truck. I fell so far, I'm surprised I didn't crack a bone. I look up and still above me is towering this ginormous monster. I try to get up to run. That was not object, my knee was fucked. I look up, make eye contact with the monster, and I am ready to accept my fate. It reaches out his long clawed hand and asks me if I'm okay. Guys, it was a haunted house. You thought I was gonna fall down the stairs and the monster was gonna ask me if I was okay? It's a haunted house. They have to do that. I didn't sign this waiver for nothing.
Alright, go.
I heard you were planning something fantastic.
He bends down, but this time he looks up, and I swear to you, he smiles at me, and his jaws are all yellow and jagged, and he has nothing in life to lose. I'm on the ground, and he gives me this look that says, hey, dude, this rock ain't gonna miss you this time. I learned something about myself last week. Being tall with dreads does not make me look as intimidating as I thought it did. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that for the past month I've been working out daily along with practicing semen retention. Because I want to channel all of my energy and focus it into making YouTube videos. But as many of you know, I'm not the best at managing my sleep schedule. So that means a lot of the times I'll be working out or going on runs outside at 3 a.m.
Guess let's head home.
Payday, Sam.
Walk my car. Tomorrow is Friday. The time is 5 AM to attend to school. Lock my car.
Because I get to the last stretch and I'm about to pass this neighborhood dumpster. I turn the corner and my heart drops. Because all I see is this ominous looking figure just standing there in the middle of the road. And instantly, I'm like, yo, what in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is this? And why is it standing in front of my house of all the houses? I have to get past this thing to get to my house, so I have no choice but to approach it. So I walk up, and as I get closer and closer, I realize that what I'm seeing is actually a raccoon. A raccoon that is standing up straight with bald fists. And he just looks like he wants all of the smoke. Like, he does not look like he's gonna bite me. He looks like he's gonna run me my ones. Like, he's for real posted up. I have honestly never seen anything like this before. So I am literally standing off with this raccoon. I don't want to run past him because that might scare him and he'll bite me. I also don't want to casually walk by him because I'll let my guard down, turn my back on him, and he'll bite me. I don't want to walk the other way and let him have the road because I'm not walking. As I get close to him, he starts turning his head and following me with his eyes. I'm now right next to him. I keep walking, and I kid you not, this raccoon pump fakes me like a human being. He just, do you get what just happened? This raccoon just sized me up, assumed I wasn't about it, and checked me. Successfully, because I blinched. It's a raccoon. Of course, I'm not gonna expect that. So, you know, I got startled a little bit. Okay, I jumped and screamed. He caught me lacking, alright? I cannot be 10 toes all the time. After hearing me scream, the raccoon knew. He knew he won, so he starts slowly approaching me. But now, I don't feel bad for this Doug rat anymore. He just played me. If he gets closer, I'm making a field goal with this dude. I'm kicking the mask off his face. So I turn around and look him in the eyes, and as he's getting closer and closer, I'm channeling all my chakra into my leg because I'm about to launch him. And I think he realizes that because he stops. Did you know raccoons can pick things up? He grabs a rock, leans back, throws it, but it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, he's a raccoon. His little tiny arms aren't doing much. He kind of just tosses it a little bit. He looks at the rock, looks at me, and looks at his hands, like he's thinking or something. He bends down and picks up a rock with his other hand. Did you know raccoons are left-handed? He throws the rock in, smooth almost hit me in my face. Yo, you don't hear me. I swear you're not hearing me. This 1'3" raccoon just launched a rock from 5 feet away accurately. Like, he doesn't even have thumbs, nigga. Do you understand? Why is he throwing like he's been training with Tom Brady or something? His aim was immaculate. I'm so taken aback that I stumble and fall onto the ground. He realizes that now is his chance, and he starts walking up to me. Not crawling, but walking. As in on 2 legs. This raccoon is stepping up to me like a nigga, okay? He keeps walking, and I've never in my life done this before, but I do the horror movie back shuffle thing, but he doesn't go for me. He goes for another rock. He bends down, but this time he looks up, and I swear to you, he smiles at me, and his jaws are all yellow and jagged. He has nothing in life to lose. I'm on the ground, and he gives me this look that says, hey, dude, this rock ain't gonna miss you this time. But while he's picking up the rock, I get the courage to get up and run away. I get the courage to run away. 10 toes never fold. He throws and the rock goes right past me again. But I just keep running. I run and run until I get home and hopped on my phone and took this very heroic picture. Since then, I have not run at 3 a.m. This raccoon traumatized me. Okay, that's cap. I ran at 3 yesterday, but hey, I thought twice before I left the house.
I would just shoot the bitch. No questions asked. I would just shoot the bitch. Shoot the animal.
This is meant to be my thing. How am I meant to find my feet when he's scattering banknotes in my path?
I would shoot the bitch. No questions
Bye,
asked.
sweetie. Sorry if I was like purging and stuff. Bye.
Hey, can I join
Motion
you?
or simple twitch response behavior
I'm
exhibited by
nosy.
515 is to be
What's your
noted
name?
and reported to
James
research and emergency
Porter.
staff. If SCP-515's legs or arms are in working order, they must be broken
yours?
immediately to minimize his sleepwalking speed
Hi.
in the event of escape. The neck, however, cannot be
Hi,
broken
Jack.
due to the risk of death. Instead, it must be held immobile by a brace covering up to the chin
I
and
think
down
I'm
to
your
the shoulders.
cousin.
Amputation
Cool.
and severing the motor nerves of the limbs are also not recommended, due to similar risks, and all muscle
How are you,
relaxants
Colleen?
tested thus far have resulted in convulsive reactions
You're the
and as
age-old.
such should not be administered.
Cool.
Restraints are not to be unfasted at any time for any reason, and the room is not to be open for anything but standard research purposes, unless emergency conditions require it. Maintenance crews in D-Class are also to be kept away from the enclosure unless
What about
otherwise noted.
smoke?
General
So why not?
05-LT has forbidden the
Cool,
termination of
don't smoke.
SCP-515 on the
Thanks.
grounds of what took place in Event
You're
515-09 in August of 2001.
No fuck
On this
off
date,
with
there have been reports of activity in
My
a collection of
house, your
asteroids
house.
located several million
My house
kilometers
will
away.
do.
No,
Cool.
this was before SCP-515 had been discovered by the Foundation. Fortunately, Foundation personnel were able to track down the source to an old woman in
Can
Guatemala.
I come
They
in
located her in her
or...
small home on the outskirts of a nearby village. She was unconscious and none of her neighbors recognized her. The woman was brought back to the SCP Foundation headquarters and restrained. Scientists were able to discern that the woman's movement correlated to the movement of the collection of asteroids. The woman was then categorized as SCP-515, and the collection of asteroids were dubbed SCP-515-01. Whenever the woman moved, 515-01 moved accordingly, making their way closer and closer to Earth. To prevent an X-class event, the woman's bones were then broken. This seemed to cease the journey of 515-01. Then, the head general at the time passed an order to terminate the woman's life in order to remove the SCP-515 X-class event as a possibility. The woman was terminated, and it seemed all was well. For several months, nothing happened. No movement was recorded in 515-01, and Foundation personnel passed the case on as complete. However, in July of 2002, further activity was found in the asteroids. That is when Foundation personnel located the body of what is currently SCP-515, the 14-year-old boy who now resides in Site-29. The same patterns were found in this young boy as the deceased woman from Guatemala. It seems apparent that 515 possesses a reincarnation ability, which removes the solution of terminating the body of 515. The body must therefore remain alive and restrained. To this date, this is the best method Foundation personnel have devised in order to limit the X-class event that could be caused by 515. If the young boy were killed, this would result in a reincarnation in a separate body, which would be very difficult and time-consuming for agents to locate and recover. For the entire duration of containment, the young boy has ingested no food or water and has passed no waste. What has kept him alive for so long is still unknown. Even asleep, SCP-515 has been known to speak on rare occasions. Little of what is said is intelligible, and that which can be heard is typically incoherent, similar to the speech of a person who is incredibly sick. Portions have been recorded for future research. No noticeable difference in the movement of SCP-515-1 has been noted during these periods. The following is a recording of SCP-515's speech. December 26, 2005. The vessel cannot view the incomprehensible. It simply moves in time with the sea. April 13th, 2009. There are more. There are always more. Repeated for several minutes.
May I kick a little song, butter cheese, and take it only for the week?
Fuck off.
August 6th, 2015. Can you see where I am? Can you breathe? Can you move? Can you move? These were the only intelligible recordings of SCP-515's speech. Others are far too jumbled and low volume to understand. Now, it is understood that SCP-515 has not been conscious for some time, but that period of unconsciousness ceased for a few seconds on the 15th of February 2013. Scientists were sitting in their usual spot behind the one-way mirror, observing 515. His vitals were normal. His heart rate was normal. However, out of nowhere, 515's eyes opened. His vitals underwent a great deviation in readings, and it seemed everything was out of balance. Scientists rushed into the room to alleviate the problem and calm SCP-515 down with sedation. It is noted that 515's eyes are blue, which was not known before. Despite being treated with heavy sedation, SCP-515 continued to open his eyes. Security footage shows that 515 did not move at all. His eyeballs did not move either. The only noticeable movement was his eyelids, which blinked a total of 3 times. Halfway across the globe, Russia was immediately hit by an asteroid. This is widely known as the Chelyabinsk meteor, although Foundation personnel recognize this as a reaction of SCP-515's movement. The Chelyabinsk meteor was a superbolide that entered Earth's atmosphere over Russia on 15 February 2013 at about 9:20 local time. The light from the meteor was brighter than the sun, visible up to 100 kilometers away. Some locals reported feeling a blast of heat from the asteroid. The asteroid plummeted towards Russia, breaking Earth's atmosphere at a speed of 60,000 kilometers an hour. Due to its high velocity and shallow angle of atmospheric entry, the object exploded in an airburst over Chelyabinsk Oblast at a height of around 29.7 kilometers. The resultant debris plummeled to the ground, causing a shockwave to spread in a 100-kilometer wide radius. Over 1,000 people were injured, although not from the actual meteor itself. They were injured mainly by broken glass that shattered as a result of the shockwave. The Chelyabinsk meteor is the largest known natural object to have entered Earth's atmosphere since the 1908 Tunguska event, and is also the only meteor.
Would be something he wrote shortly before he passed. July 23rd, I am certainly no American political expert, but by what I read about Ulysses Grant, he seemed to be a pretty alright guy. His death came on July 23rd, 1885, after he lost his battle with throat cancer. His last spoken word was water, which is pretty sad considering what he was going through. But he did lose the ability to speak sometime before his death, so a more accurate portrayal of his last words would be something he wrote shortly before he passed. He wrote, "There was never one more willing to go than I." That is so dark and sad to think that he was just kind of done with life. But after suffering a painful disease, I can understand why. He certainly lived quite the life as he made it all the way to being the president. He was only 63 at the time, but I feel like by 1885 standards, that might have been pretty old. Heading on down to number 9, we have the 20th President of the United States, James Garfield. James had a similar outlook to a lot of people at the time and thought that the assassination of Abraham Lincoln was just a fluke and denied the opportunity to have security guards around him constantly. Unfortunately, on July 2nd, 1881, this decision led to him getting shot twice by a man who was trying to assassinate him. James lived for a few months after, but was struggling pretty hard to survive because of the lack of medical technology available to remove the bullet that was still lodged in him. On the day of his death, James laid down to rest before he awoke, clutching his chest. His friend, General David Swaim, was by his side, and James reached out for him and asked, "Swaim, can't you stop this pain?" These were his final words, and it's so sad to know that he passed in such pain, but I'm glad he had his friend near to him at the time. In our number 8 spot today, we have the 21st President of the United States, Chester Alan Arthur. Before I dive into this one, guys, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up because it really helps us out. Chester was actually the 20th president, but became the 21st president after the death of James Garfield. After his presidency was finished, Chester went back to work at his New York law firm. He had some health issues already, so he wasn't working a ton, but on November 16th, 1885, he ordered for all of his personal and official papers to be burned, which seems like kind of weird behavior. The following day, he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and never regained consciousness until he passed the next day. While Chester's last words weren't officially recorded, a friend of his said that his last words to him were that life is not worth living. This is a pretty dark message to leave someone, but maybe Chester didn't know that this was the last time that he would speak to this friend. In our number 7 spot, we have the 22nd and the 24th President of the United States, Grover Cleveland. Grover has not been regarded as a particularly great president, and it has been said that his greatest accomplishment might have been the introduction that he gave so that the more modern presidency that began with Theodore Roosevelt could emerge. In the fall of 1907, Grover fell very ill, and in 1908, he ended up suffering a heart attack. On June 24th, 1908, he ended up passing away with his last words being, "I have tried so hard to do right." I think this is pretty dark because it's sad to think that he was worried about the impact he had left on the world in his final moments. Death really does seem like the worst time to start having an existential crisis. In our number 6 spot, we have the 23rd President of the United States, Benjamin Harrison. Benjamin was actually the grandson of the 9th president, making them the only grandfather-grandson duo to have both held office. He was a Republican who took office in between the terms of Grover Cleveland and lost out on re-election. He definitely isn't ranked among the top or best presidents, but his commitment and his integrity are not questioned. Benjamin had an interesting personal life, considering after his wife passed, he remarried, but it just so happens that the woman he chose was the 37-year-old niece and former secretary of his late wife. In February of 1901, Benjamin was diagnosed with influenza, which at the time was called grip. He was treated the best way that they knew how at the time, but on March 13th, at the age of 67, he ended up passing away. What the doctors had thought was influenza was actually pneumonia, which was the cause of his death. His last words were, "Are the doctors here? Doctor, my lungs." It's super sad to know that he was in pain, and I'm not sure if they knew what pneumonia was in 1901, but if they did, it would be such a shame that he was misdiagnosed and mistreated. Pneumonia isn't fun, even in 2020 when we have better ways of treating it. In our 5th spot and halfway mark, we have the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Franklin still holds the record for the longest time in office, as he was elected 4 consecutive times. Of course, this was before the 2-term limit that now exists. Franklin is regarded as one of the best presidents there's ever been, but of course there have been plenty of people who criticized his policies and positions, but also because of the fact that he was the president for most of World War II, his response to that was also highly scrutinized. Franklin was able to serve 3 terms entirely and was 2 months and 23 days into his 4th term when he passed. On April 12th of 1945, Franklin was sitting for a portrait when he said, "I have a terrific headache." He then slumped over in his chair, and upon examination by his attending cardiologist, he ended up passing away from an intracerebral hemorrhage. It's crazy to think that he had no idea what he was just seconds away from, and that he really did just think he had a headache. I guess maybe that's a good way to go, though. I feel really bad for the guy that was doing the portrait, because I feel like that would be very awkward. In our number 4 spot, we have the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Dwight was a 5-star general in the Army during World War II before he became president. Dwight has been seen as an inactive president, but some things that he has been praised for are ending the Korean War and not starting any others in the meantime, and for stabilizing the Soviet-American rivalry. On March 28, 1969, Dwight ended up passing away at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center from congestive heart failure. He was 78 at the time, and his last words ended up being, "I want to go, God take thee." I guess it's a good thing that he felt ready when it came time, but it is pretty scary to think that he had just kind of given up. Maybe his time in the war gave him some memories that he just didn't want to have anymore. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. The Kennedy family is one of the most politically established families in American history. John is highly regarded as a great president and actually came 3rd in a list of highly admired people of the 20th century. John and his wife were slightly younger than their predecessors, dancers, which gave them this sort of pop culture influence, as well as their obviously political influence. On Friday, November 22nd, 1963, at 12:30 p.m., John was assassinated as he was...
Gee, you've got nice eyes. Has to be tiny.
was traveling in a presidential motorcade throughout downtown Dallas, Texas. He ended up being struck by 2 bullets and was immediately taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead 30 minutes later. While I don't have time to go into who assassinated him or why, I will tell you that his last words were to a woman named Nellie Connolly, who was traveling in the same car as him. She had said to him, "You certainly can't say that the people of Dallas haven't given you a warm welcome, Mr. President." To which he replied, "No, you certainly can't." It's crazy because they very obviously had no idea about what was just moments away from happening, but I'm glad that it seems like he was feeling welcomed and well loved before this tragic incident took place. Moving on to our number 2 spot, we have the 36th President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon was the Vice President of John F. Kennedy, but took over the presidency after the assassination we just talked about. When Lyndon first held office, he was looked down upon and had some pretty low ratings. Since then, however, he has began to become regarded as an above-average president, and some of the policies he put in place still exist and remain intact today. Lyndon shocked America when he decided not to run for a second term, but it was because he was worried about his health and being unable to make it all the way through. Lyndon had a bunch of heart problems and suffered 2 heart attacks. Surgery was considered for him, but doctors weren't sure he was healthy enough to be able to survive it. On January 22nd, 1973, Lyndon called for help on his telephone as he was suffering another massive heart attack. His last words were, "Send Mike immediately." Mike was his Secret Service agent who was housed not too far from where Lyndon was, but by the time Mike got there, it was already too late. I hate the idea that he died alone, but he lived a good life and accomplished a lot before his passing. And even if Mike was there, the outcome most likely wouldn't have been any different. In our number 1 spot today, we have the 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon. Richard has quite a reputation for his second term due to the rise of Watergate, and was the only president who resigned from the position. There is a lot to unpack about Richard's second term, and we'll honestly have to save that for another video, but we will skip to what you're here for. On April 18th, 1994, Richard unfortunately suffered a stroke. He was awake and alert for a while, but unable to speak. Because of the trauma his brain had suffered, he ended up slipping into a coma before he passed.
Let's have a smoke while we head to your house. Done, Daddy. Like a car? Thanks. Let's do this. Where's your house? Go down this way, it's at the beach. I know where the beach is when we get to the beach. You direct me where. Done. Oh. Fuck. Here we are at the beach. Go straight. Keep going straight. Turn down here. Okay. Keep going. Turn down here. Keep going straight. And it's this building, the blue building, this one, yeah, cool. It's this door right here. Here we are.
Que me cago.
Have a look around if you want. So, okay, so the office, lounge room, balcony, picture,
I'm sorry, friend.
photos
Madre
of,
mía.
let me guess, your family? Yeah, basically. Kitchen, there's a dinner table there.
Excuse me, friend.
Okay, what's in here? The bathroom.
Pero eres imbécil.
This is the spare room. Okay, so spare room. Let me guess. Your room is, yeah, this is my room. Nice.
Madre mía.
I guess let's do this shit. Done. That was good day. Yes. Okay, you have to get out of here, okay? Oh good. See ya. See ya.